I think this is around by the time where they would tell you listen to this track, bitch.
Listen to this track, bitch.
Like me. I say I don't give a fuck down like me. Oh no, I don't give a fuck down like me. Sorry, I don't give a fuck down like me. Fuck 'em, I don't give a fuck down like me. No, I ain't got shit to prove. No, I ain't broke no more and I don't owe no foe, but I still ride with my tool. You so concerned about my real life, and that's alright. But who are you? Just another nigga with a strap. It don't take rocket science to shoot. You don't know shit about getting bricks out, you probably still work true for true. You don't know shit about on your blood, cause you paid your bills with all that loot. How about your baby about to be born and he don't got Pampers, wipes, or food? How about your mama fucking your best friend and y'all both just finished school? But it's okay, she thinks it's cool. You're in her way, it's time you move. And you just paid all her damn bills, so you feel like a fool. So what do you suggest I do? You think you know, you got no clue. So please don't tell me what you think I ain't been through. I don't give a fuck down like me. I say I don't give a fuck down like me. Oh no, I don't give a fuck down like me. Sorry, I don't give a fuck down like me. Fuck 'em, I don't give a fuck down.
Welcome to Agent Dan. Yes, I'm back. Had a great broadcast with Roland Martin the other day, and back today to talk about freedom in America. Talk about racism. Talk about the old dumb Donald Trump and 1776 to now. Well, I would like to get on 1776. It's amazing how I'm going to get on African Americans too, because I was noticing on the comments about African Americans made when they heard that Trump decided to take everything, trying to redo, and that's all it is. He's trying to redo everything what President Obama have done. He's trying to redo it, and everybody failed to realize, and they're finally waking up. Some of you guys are waking up and seeing that everything what President Obama did, it helped the nation. This motherfucker, let me take that back. I'm trying to break that word. This fucker is redoing everything and not even helping the nation. He's helping these white nationalists, and then have the nerves to come to the go to the African American Museum and was surprised, punk, that all of us never lived in the ghetto, and you need to learn what ghetto mean, because most white nationalists so damn dumb, they don't know the what ghetto mean. They don't know mostly nothing. They're uneducated people, so they just believe that they were put here, they have pale faces, and they deserve everything what they get, like raping, thief, stealing, anything. They deserve it. They're supposed to have it. That's that's what they supposed to have. This is what they inherit, and that's it. So, and they will call you subhuman, and this is the reason why I brought up 1776, because the same ones who calling you subhuman is the same ones who fought against being slaves against the British, who wanted their freedom. Yeah, we're going to get deep down in that. 1776 is when they fought for their freedom, and they want to say January the 4th is when they celebrate their freedom, but it wasn't. It was before. They just put it on that date. So this is what I can't understand. You fought for your freedom because you didn't want to be controlled by Britain, the British. But you don't want anyone else to fight for their freedom. Republicans, Democrats. I'm a Democrat, but Democrats are no better than the Republicans now. You get what I'm saying? You guys fought for, but let me really go farther than that. Anybody know about Chris Attock? He was the first man that actually stood up for these Caucasian freedom. They didn't start stand up their freedom until this African decided to stand up, and he stood up and got killed before their freedom, for you guys' freedom. You fought. So who is subhuman? Who was you guys were slaves? How do we forget? You fought against the British to gain your freedom. But you're not trying to allow people of color to have their freedom. You still want them to be, you still want to be superior and we be inferior against you. You want to be the superior one through all century of time that your ancestors fought for freedom. And then the first thing that really kills me, that most of you Caucasians will say, why don't you just forget about slavery? You son of a bitches, y'all care so much what went over in Germany and helped the Jews, but you will never tell a Jew never forget about, why don't you forget about the Holocaust? Why don't you forget about our Hitler? You'll never tell them that. And the reason why you will not tell them that is because the stint that you have done and still are doing to our people still exists, and you never gave our people what you put in the Constitution. Hell, keep your mule, give us the 40 acres that you stole from us. Do you hear what I say? You can fight for your freedom from the British. And I wanted to talk about this long time ago, but I just had to talk about it. It just got on my nerves. You can fight for your freedom. Your ancestors can fight for their freedom for British, but I be damned, you will not allow people of color to gain freedom. That we already have freedom. That's what kills me. That everybody prays, and this is what kills me about President Obama. He praised Lincoln. He's an intelligent man, President Obama, he is, and his family. But why the hell would you praise somebody talking about emancipate? How you gonna emancipate people who were already free in Africa? You get what I'm saying? How can you emancipate anybody who was already free in Africa? You guys, your ancestors went over there to Africa and picked our ancestors up because you was too lazy to do your damn fields and do your houses and build stuff. So you had to go and get slaves because you were too lazy, and you want to rape and kill if somebody stands up. And that's not only rape women, you rape men too. And you have some nerves. You fight for your freedom. You got your freedom. And you think you're better than somebody. Then you call us subhumans? Then you had to be the first subhumans. Because you were slaves too. To Britain. And you want to turn around and hate somebody by the color of their skin? Why? Because we contribute to this country more than you have? And the first thing come to your mouth, go back to Africa. Well, hell, you go back to Europe. You first. This is not your country. This is not our country. But it's more our country than your country. But guess what? Because all Africans was part of Indians, Native Americans. All Africans were part of Mexicans. If you dig a little deep, we were part of them. And they are part of us. You all of a sudden came about later on in century of times. You didn't just was the first people, but according to you, you want to lie and said Jesus was white. And the only reason why you scientists did that is because you saw people praising a black man. That image of Jesus, he cared, he loved, he took care of, he gave. The image of Caucasian, and I'm not saying all, the image of Caucasian, these white nationalists, you could even say Caucasians who's unconscious racists. You could look at them, do they give? Hell no. Do they love? Hell no. Do they care? Hell no. Now you turn yourself around and look at a black man, an African man. Do he care? You can see it. Do he show love? Yes, you saw it. You can see it today, how we love people. Regardless of what are you doing to us, we still wind up loving you. Caring. Loving. Still. It shows today. But the first thing you will say and take away the praise because you didn't want somebody to know that Jesus was African, and it says it so clear in your Bible. You guys don't have wool hair. And if you have wool hair, you're mixed. And you couldn't live in Africa with the type of skin you have because you would have had skin cancer. It shows today. But you don't want the truth to come out. You gain that power because we, as our ancestors did, trust you guys and show you things that you didn't know how to do it. So the first thing you did is backstab our ancestors because we wasn't expecting that. We expect you today what you'll do. Like now. All you guys are marching, and I always question this. I know all Caucasians, not most of you are racist or unconscious racist. But I always have my guard up with you guys. As y'all march and try to stop the ban, that is the great thing that we can do is march and stop the ban for immigrants. Because all of us are immigrants. But once all these things that you marching for, the rights that you want, and you get, then will you still continue to march for us that we march as equals now? Will you continue to march for people of color once you get what you want? Or will you turn your attention away from us and start saying, you ain't nothing but an end. You're beneath me. You're a subhuman. Because we have seen that. If you think that we're that dumb, look around you and see how many things are being created by us. Have been created by us. Do you think we do not pay attention to what the attitude that you portray? You are sadly mistaken. So you fought for your freedom. You receive your freedom, but you don't want no one else to receive their freedom because they're subhumans just like you. And the killing part, how could we ask for freedom when we was already free in Africa? And the first thing you say is, hell, we just made y'all life better when you brought us over. That's a lie. History shows that we had our own cities. We had our own government before you guys ever thought of it. And most of the stuff that you have in the United States today, it is from Africa. Every science method that you are doing today are from Africans. These are the lies that you told your people. And continue to tell. So I would like to get on my brothers and sisters supporting this ignorant ass person who's in the White House named Donald Trump. Yes, and I would never call him president. Never call him president. Because he's not my president. I didn't vote for that asshole and will not vote for him next time. And 2018 is coming up in November. We need to get these Democrats and these Republicans out so they can start working for us. Not vice versa. So my brother and sisters was like, oh yeah, I support Trump on this gay ban of the restrooms, right? They're supporting them. So they didn't get it when I say about 50 years ago, they was banning us. They banned us for drinking from a white water fountain. They banned us for using the restroom of a white restroom. They banned us. We couldn't eat at the counters. They banned us. People of color. But the first thing you African American people would say, why compare us to them? Because it's a comparison. They are banning transsexual, transgenders from the restroom the same way they did us. Just like they're trying to ban the Muslims that entering in the United States. Nobody have not done. You cannot name one Muslim, not one ISIS person who was born in another country, raised in another country, believe in different everything, bomb United States. You cannot name, but you can name these white people who was born and raised in United States and are Americans. And this same stupid person in the White House will sit up there and he visit the African American place and sit up there talk, we need the United States been divided for so long and we need to come together. Fuck you and your white supremacists. That's how I feel about your lie. You've been lying from day one. And you African Americans who bite this fool up, you're going to see how he's going to come after you. Matter of fact, Session already came. McConnell need to go from Kentucky. You guys need to start voting in Kentucky and get his ass out of there. Because he allowed Session to get in here, and guess what? He took away the ban of letting private entities of prison. President Obama told them no and got rid of them. No longer being supported. Now they're being supported. Hell, what you think they're going to do now? The 13th Amendment. They're going to start incarcerating African American people because they need labor. And you can fuck yourself if you think I will work for you. I'm not going to work for you free. I am not your slave. Never have been. My ancestors was not your slaves. They were slaves by physical form. They was not slaves by mental. They was not slaves over in Africa until your ass came over there and picked them up and brought them over here. You lazy son of a guns. You are lazy and still lazy. Oh, now you getting mad at Trump is because he's thinking about taking your ACA. You voted for him. You wanted him to do it. Because you don't want to get jobs. Guess what? If the immigrants leave to die tomorrow, you're not going to work anyway. And he's talking about bringing unity. Man, get the hell out of here with that unity crap. Tell lies to anybody else, not to me. I will not be bamboozled and hoodwinked, you yahoos. Then they're lying, talking about Mexico and America is just all cahoots and they're okay. That's a lie. But you keep on believing the lies is because he said it. They're not in cahoots and they do not like each other. He says when he was going to be president, still saying it. Mexican immigrants are rapists and drug dealers. What do that sound like? That's how they said it with the Native Americans and us. Always trying to make false claims about people if their face is not pale. God. Kills me with that crap. Don't know the history. Don't know nothing. Just always uneducated. This fool, Trump, got in office by uneducated people because he relate to them because he's uneducated as well. This fool didn't even know Banner put his position in the thing. He signed it because he doesn't read. How he get his information? Off news. The one that he keep on saying false news. Then he'll tweet. He doesn't do daily reports at all. But you guys all for him. All for him. But it's only the beginning because he only been in for a month and haven't helped the nation at all. Haven't helped the nation. We're still reaping the benefits from President Obama, but I'm giving it about 2 more years. And we're going to see if one of his people don't kill him because he's going to put so much of stuff in on the doing executive orders because he's not doing a damn thing for the nation. Not one thing. You cannot even name what this man have done for the nation yet. He haven't even brought back jobs. Where the jobs coming from? President Obama's unemployment rate went from almost 10% when Bush left out of here. People forget how sure we forget. And went all the way down to 4.4. What jobs is he going to bring? He's lying to you. You're being bamboozled and hoodwinked. He's completely lying to you. Can't get no stupid in that. Stupid is as stupid does. You guys continue to sit here and believe the crap what this man is telling you. This man said, when I become president, I will go ahead and give you guys my tax return. As soon as he became president, he lied. He said he ain't giving you nothing. Nada. Zilch. He's always president. Ain't giving you nothing. Because you will see he have the dealings with who? You guys are just plain out ignorant. Ignorant to the T. Don't get it. Don't understand it. Can't comprehend it. Maybe you do get it. Yeah, there's a lot of unconscious racists around here anyway. They really think that they're not. Had one guy there. The first thing a racist will say, I have a black friend. You know why they say that? Because they want to convince you that they're not racist. But why your friend have to be black? Why do your friend have to be black? Why do your friend have to be black, people? Why? Because you're trying to convince somebody that you're not a racist. You are a racist. That's what I told this unconscious racist. He said to me, my friend, I have a black friend. That's exactly what he said. I say, why do your friend have to be black? It's no excuse. It kills me. I have a black friend. I have a black friend. Yeah, we know. We know. We know about your black friends. We know about your freedom, too. We know all about the freedom, right? We know that you guys want your freedom, but you don't want nobody else to be free. Nobody to be free. Because you want the control of everything. You want to control everything. You're afraid of losing control. You're afraid of that. You're afraid of that, losing that control. Then you call people subhumans. You mean nothing. You always gonna be subhumans. Come on now. Come on. See, you never look at that at all. All you know is what you want. And nobody can't take it away from you. And you're not going to have somebody take it away from you. Right? That's how you feel. People, if you don't understand what is going on, then you'll never know. Especially my people when they're agreeing with this guy named Trump, who's in the White House, and think it's okay for him to ban or take away what President Obama put in place. He want to be like President Obama so bad. He want the love like President Obama received. Let me give you a hint, Trump, because you stay on social media all the time. You don't read. Nobody would never love you like President Obama, you dumb fuck. Never. England, London don't even want you over there. Nobody don't want to be bothered with your uneducated people in you. Only the uneducated ones love you. Get it? Fool. As we go on today, I just want to talk about it. I hope y'all enjoyed the recording that I had Roland Martin on. He talked about some serious racism that exists. A lot of Caucasians do not want to hear it. I had one Caucasian sit on the side of me. He lasted about 10 minutes and left because he didn't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to know what is actually going on in America. You don't want to know that this stuff really do truly exist in America. You want to live in your little bubble and think every African American is live in the ghetto. You think that all the time. Every African American live in the ghetto, don't have nothing going on for themselves. Just they living on welfare, but they fail to realize 96% of you guys are on welfare. Caucasian, read it, look up the statistics. You guys are on welfare, but you don't want to admit that. You want to put us as that person that we're on welfare. We don't have nothing going on for ourselves. People think that this man have people think that this man is going to help the economy. Sadly mistaken, he's not. He's not. He's calling for fake news. You guys are eating it up. These people are not. Some are fake. Some are, most are real. But these guys, you guys falling into a plot of how he want to run America like Russia, a communist country. He's trying to be a dictator. And you guys failed to realize what the hell is going on. You supporting somebody who really do not care about this country. Mm. This man only cares about money, green. He does not see you. He doesn't care about you. Hell, we thought we was going through something with Bush. Shit. This man been in the office and have not done. Do y'all understand when I keep on singing that he have not done nothing for the economy? Nothing. Just trying to put his white wash shit in the economy. Let's listen to Jane Elliott.
Jane Elliott is a civil rights activist and an educator. She is known for her provocative and controversial blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. Jane, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for calling this an exercise instead of an experiment. I'm tickled to death.
So I want to start by asking you about this exercise. How did you first come to develop the experiment, and can you please explain how it works?
It was the day after Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. I was teaching third all-white, all-Christian Riceville, Iowa. None of my students had ever been in the presence of a person of color. And Martin Luther King Jr. had been one of our heroes of the month in February, and he was dead in April. And I had no way to explain that horror to my students, and I can't talk about it without getting sick to my stomach to this day. I had to go into my classroom the next day and tell my students why this society thought it was the right thing to do to kill a man because of the color of his skin, which was one of the reasons they killed him. And I was watching that horror on television the night after it happened, and it reminded me of what I had heard when I was 5 years old, and the Nazis took over Europe. And it sounded like, here we are again, going through what happened in the 30s and 40s, but this in the United States of America. And I decided that the next morning, if my students didn't understand what we were talking about when we discussed this thing, and I knew they wouldn't because I didn't understand it, that I would do what Hitler did. I would let them find out how it feels to be treated unfairly on the basis of a physical characteristic over which they have no control. And one of the things Adolf Hitler used was eye color. And I decided that night that I would go into my classroom the next day, separate my students according to the color of their eyes, and treat part of them the way we treat people because of our ignorance about skin color in this country. And so that they would have some understanding of why Martin Luther King was in the street, what it was that he was demonstrating against, and why it has to be stopped. I thought that was a good thing to do then. I know today that it was a good thing to do then, and I wish I had done it with the members of the Congress.
Was it hard for them to hear?
It's extremely difficult for them to experience for even 10 minutes, and they had to go through it for a whole day, what children of color in this country go through for a lifetime. I watched things happen to my students that I wouldn't have believed would happen. I watched kids, dyslexic brown-eyed boys, who couldn't read, become readers on the day they were on the top in that exercise. I watched a brilliant, blue-eyed girl, absolutely brilliant, steel-trap mind, reading at the 6th grade level in 3rd grade, who forgot how to multiply, who made mistakes in reading, who made mistakes in spelling. The day she was on the bottom in that exercise. I watched my 3rd graders, my brown-eyed 3rd graders, become the person that I had modeled for them ever since they came into my classroom, because those students became like the significant adults in their environment. I found out, watching my 3rd graders, my brown-eyed people on the top, react to that power, I found out how I look to people of color. And I will never act the way that those kids did, because they were acting the way I had before that. I found out that you can change a child's learning ability in 20 minutes by telling them they have magic or bad eyes. You can tell them there's something wrong with their eyes and they cannot learn. And you can prove to them that they can't learn. If you can do that in a day or in a half an hour with 3rd graders, all white 3rd graders, what do you do to a child of color when you do it to them for a lifetime? I don't think any of us have any idea the kind of coping skills that black kids have developed in this country, nor that black adults are walking around with in this country. We have no idea what it takes to be a person of color in the United States of America. We don't have the skill. We don't have the intestinal fortitude to go through what they go through. And we don't understand that, and we don't realize it, so we keep on doing it.
So you've performed the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise with large groups of people. What were some of the most surprising results of the exercise?
Well, I've been hit by a person during the exercise, a tall white male. I've been threatened with death numerous times. They took me out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. 3 carloads of blacks did, because the teachers that I put through the exercise in a very informal way called the superintendent in the afternoon and said, if you don't get that bitch out of town, we're going to shoot her.
Can you explain why these people were so angry with you?
Because for 15 minutes, they had to tolerate the intolerable. I accused them of being less than because they had the wrong color eyes. And these are adults that we're talking about now. And as a result of that, they riot. At the White House Conference on Children and Youth in 1970, we put about 140 delegates through the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. They rioted. They went crazy. It was absolutely amazing. And these are doctors and lawyers and all kinds of people who are important in the lives of children and making decisions about them. You can read that article in a book that I've written called Collar in My Pocket, because that article out of the Washington newspaper is in that book. People won't believe that adults would act the way they do until they see the films, until they read the book, until they read that description of how those adults in Washington, D.C. acted because I told them they were less than because they had the wrong color eyes. They get furious. They get the blue-eyed people, who I always put them on the bottom, because most people with brown eyes in this country, most of the people of color in this country have brown eyes, so I'm not going to inflict that on them yet again. Blue-eyed people during that exercise absolutely exhibit all the behaviors that we see in women and people of color in this country. And what you find out very quickly is it isn't because of a weakness in their genes. It's because they are reacting to unfair treatment based on somebody else's ignorance about a physical characteristic over which they have no control. That's what racism in this country is about. It's only when we finally decide to read Robert Wald Sussman's book, The Myth of Race, only when everybody in this country who is in a position of power reads that book and realizes that there's only one race on the face of the earth, and that's the human race, and we're all members of it. And all these other little categories that we've put together are color groups. They are not races. There's no black race, white race, red race, yellow race, brown race. There's only the human race. We're all members of it. You and I are cousins, whether you like it or not. Well, you may not like having me in your family group, but there I am. We are all members of the family of man, and it's time to stop treating each other badly because of ignorance about skin color.
So I'm pretty curious to hear your thoughts on the presidential election results. Do you think Trump's victory is a bad thing for America?
Worst thing that could have happened, worst thing second only to the Holocaust, is this man, no, this isn't a man, this is a boy grown tall. He got really tall, but he's still a boy. And all you have to do is listen to the things he says and watch the ways in which he behaves, and you know that this is a case of arrested development. And the reason he is in the presidency is because too many intelligent people said, I don't want to vote for Hillary, so they didn't vote. But now we find out that she's got over 2 million votes that weren't counted. I would hope that the Electoral College would vote for Mrs. Clinton for the presidency, because they have that out if they would use it, but they won't. But that's what they should do. That would be the right thing to do, because she got the majority of the popular vote. We went through this in my lifetime with Al Gore and W. Al Gore should have won that election. He got the most popular vote. He conceded, and so we got little George.
So if the election results do hold up, do you think we'll see 11 million people deported in the near future?
If we see 11 million people in a situation where they're going to be deported immediately, you'll see 11 million other people standing in the way so that they can't deport them. And I'll be one of them. These people are my relatives. These people are members of my race. We don't have the right to abuse others because of, and this is the reason why we want to do this. Make no mistake about this. We aren't doing this because they're Mexicans or Ecuadorians. We're doing this because they have brown skin.
That's it.
Because the demographics of this country indicate that within 30 years, white people will have lost their numerical majority in the United States of America.
Power.
And that is scaring white folks to death. And they are going to do whatever they have to do to see to it that that doesn't happen. And if you think that the right to life movement is about morality or religion or that poor little fetus, you better think again. You better read the book written by Ben Wattenberg, who was a member of the American Enterprise Institute and gave advice to presidents of the United States. In his book, The Birth Dearth, Birthdearth, he says the major problem confronting the United States today is there aren't enough white babies being born. If we do not fix this immediately, white people will no longer be in the numerical majority in the United States of America, and this will no longer be a white man's land. Now, he says there are 3 ways to solve this, and the first 2 are horrendous, but the third is absolutely unacceptable. He says you have to remember that 60% of the fetuses that are aborted every year are white. If we could keep that 60% alive, that would solve our birth dearth. Now, with characteristic racism, he forgets to mention what he wants to do to the other 40% of those fetuses that aren't white. Is it all right if they're aborted? The right to life movement is about keeping America white. And you need to be aware of that.
And this is
before
why
Martin Luther King was assassinated, he began to...
And this is why they want to say that keep America great again. I was in a newspaper in St. Louis newspaper, and I said what I want to say, and I'll say it again. We are not dumb. We know what you mean when you say make America great again. We know that you're saying make America white again. That this America never was white, pale face. You guys stole this land like you always do, but you make everybody else look like criminals. So at the end of the day, I just want to play that because it need to be played, but I'm going to play a little more, and then I'm just going to say, hey, you guys, you have a great day, but I want you guys to listen to this about Martin Luther King Jr.
To broaden his message, becoming not just a voice for civil rights, but for the working poor, white and black, what do you think he represented for this country?
He represented a real threat, and that's the reason he was killed. It wasn't because his attempt to decrease the level of racism in this country. It was only after he had the Poor People's March on Washington and poor white people. That march was a whole lot of poor white people. When he and Malcolm X were becoming much closer in their attitudes and their behaviors. And the minute he did the Poor People's March on Washington, and it looked as though he might upset the economic picture in this country, he had to die. He signed his own death warrant when he had that
to economics, and I brought that up before.
There was no
that
doubt in
it
his
is
mind, but
to
that
economics.
would be the blow that killed Father. But we pretend that he was killed because of racism. He wasn't killed because of racism.
No.
He was killed because of greed,
Mm-hmm.
and because we do not want to change the economic picture in this country.
So I really like.
And I talked about this and let you guys know about the two economics, that this is what they will not allow you to think on. That is two economics for African Americans, and it's two economics for African Americans. It's two economics, one for African Americans and one for Caucasians. They want to make sure that we stay down. They want to make sure that we would, and when we gain wealth, they're going to get the people who have wealth to make sure to control them, so they wouldn't look at the other people who's of color to help them. So this is the reason why Martin Luther King got killed. It was racism, but it's also, he was talking about two economics, and that was a no-no. You Caucasians will kill, just like Malcolm X. Malcolm X found out that the Muslims are brothers and sisters, and they was coming together with Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X was stood up, and they didn't like the power that he had. You remember when you saw the Malcolm X movie, when he told the Muslims to stand up and turn, and that Caucasian sat up there and said, that's one man that had too much of power. It was all about power, boo. You guys need to start reading a lot. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters. You need to read a lot and need to start paying attention of what is going on. What is going on? You hear me? I'm going to send you with this a little more. I hope you have a great day and enjoy the interview with Jane Elliott.
Simply because either he's carrying something that looks like a gun or he's carrying a toy gun. We all know that. And here are these black mothers having these black babies and knowing these things in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Now, I don't remember what the question was. You want to ask me again?
So what is the cure for racism?
Well, the cure for racism is education. That's the cure for racism. We have to, number one, we have to re-educate the educators, because there are teachers and administrators and preachers and priests who think, number one, that Jesus looked like the little Pillsbury Doughboy. Now, this is a good time of year to talk about this. because you're going to see those pictures of the Holy Family in the Middle East. And here's this Mary with pale skin and blue eyes and yellow hair. And here's the baby Jesus looking just like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Get real here. According to the Bible, the baby Jesus had feet of bronze and kinky woolly hair. But you see, we white folks can't relate to somebody who looks like that. We have to pray to somebody that looks like us. So we have made God into an old white man with a long gray beard who looks like Charlton Heston playing Moses. And we've made the baby Jesus into somebody who looks like the little Pillsbury Doughboy. It's not possible. It didn't happen. It's a nice nursery story, but that's not the way it was. And the Pope a couple of weeks ago said, some of the things that are in the Bible didn't really happen, you know, folks. Those are allegories. Those are folk tales. Those are things made up to teach us a lesson and teach it in a fairly harmless way. We have contributed to our children's inability to deal with reality because we have created something that isn't real. We need to start seeing the world in a real way.